All right, everybody. Hi, welcome to the show. I'm Mark Childry. Glad to have you here. It's time for Star Talk, and we're going to let you weigh in on the topic. We've got an interesting topic, and many of you saw the show on Tuesday night where Potsmod came and spoke about the uniform issue for the Rockingham County school system. One of those people on the show was Chris Knight, who is a filmmaker, and he also has his own blog called The Night Shift.blogspot.com, or you can go to The Night Shift, K-N-I-G-H-T, thenightshift.com. And Chris was on the show. He actually isn't, I guess, per se a member of Potsmod, but he's been very outspoken about this uniform issue. Chris ran for the Rockingham County School Board back last fall. He did garner quite a few votes, but he wasn't elected to the position as a school board member. Who knows if that may be in his future. But anyway, he's come up with a rather unique idea, and we're going to get your opinions on this and kind of let you decide what you think of this issue. The next school board meeting will be on July the 9th. And Chris has decided that he is going to go to the school board meeting dressed as a Jedi Knight from Star Wars. So he's on the phone with us at this time. Let's get his own input into this thing. Chris, welcome to the show again.
Mark, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. Let's talk about what you're planning to do on July the 9th. Now, you were at the school board meeting on Monday, which lasted for hours and hours and hours and hours. And you even told me on the show Tuesday night that you think the reason that they put the uniform issue at the back of the meeting was to try to wear people down so they would leave before the uniform issue came up. Is that still your stance?
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, between that and Wayne Kirkman trying to take it completely off the agenda that night, there was no end of frustration for us that were there at the meeting.
So now this was called at 7 o'clock. The meeting was called to order at 7 o'clock. And so they finally brought up the uniform issue about what time?
It was well after 11 p.m.
So you still believe that they tried to wait that long so they could just wear everybody down where they would go home and there would be nobody worried about the uniform issue. Is that right?
The SMOD issue was put on the very tail end of the discussion items on the agenda. And, you know, it just seems like out of courtesy. They knew that people were going to be coming to this. They knew that this was an item of tremendous interest. It seems like the decent thing to do would have been to have put this at the head of the pack, and they didn't do it. And there were quite a few discussion items. I believe it went for maybe about an hour and a half. At that point, we'd lost track of time. We were all drinking soft drinks, getting caffeine in our system, but very few people actually left. There was still quite a crowd past 11 o'clock.
Now, Chris, you say that the school board, you don't believe that the school board was showing a lot of respect for the people that were in attendance for that meeting. Is that right?
Mark, I know a few people on that board. I still respect them. I think the world of them. But I'll say this: I was very disappointed at what happened on Monday night. It was like we had never been there at all. It was like the whole 2-hour block of people that had got up, and we're talking high school students and parents and others, and it was like we had never been there at all. It was just like there was just a whole chunk of time that was just missing from the meeting, and they refused to acknowledge it.
This whole thing is about uniforms for students. In case you're just tuning in, that's what Potsmod means, is people opposed to the standard mode of dress for basically the Reidsville High School and Reidsville Middle School. That's who will start out with this program before it moves on to other schools in the county, possibly, unless it's killed first. So let's talk about it, Chris. Now, you know, you're not very big on uniforms, and on the July the 9th school board meeting, you're planning something special. Is that right?
Yes, I had thought of doing this for this past meeting, decided not to, decided to just go and speak. But after what we saw on Monday night, my original plan for the July 9th meeting was to wear a V for Vendetta costume, but out of concern for public safety issues, I will not do that. And it would be very hard to speak from behind a mask like that. For the July 9th meeting, I have every intention of going, there you see it on your screen right now, I have every intention of going to the school board meeting in my full Jedi Knight regalia. The only thing I will not be wearing is my lightsaber, which I custom built. I will say this, I have something much, much better than a lightsaber that I will be bringing with me. And it was something that I discovered last night, and I cannot wait to show this at the meeting. It will be a very powerful thing.
You're going to whip it out at the meeting?
Into the meeting. I don't know if I will exactly. This is not, the nature of this does not really lend itself toward just whipping it out.
All right.
But I would invite anyone who wants to come. I would also like to invite anyone who also is against the standard mode of dress. It would be great to have other people who will likewise protest. And what would be great to see, people who are opposed to the uniform dressed up in a Halloween costume, an outrageous hat, funky T-shirt. Heck, you can just tape a sign to your front of your shirt saying something like, "You don't want this." It's been suggested by several people that maybe we should wear dunce caps to the next meeting, since it seems like we're being ignored. And that's the whole point of this. They're ignoring us. Not all of them, but too many of them are. They ignored us. They're still ignoring us. They refuse to acknowledge us. The whole point of this is, hey, if they will not pay attention to our words, we're going to make them pay attention to something else. And I don't want to tip my hand too much, but I will tell you this. I have shared this with just a very few people. If the board refuses to acknowledge us after this, I have something even much more outrageous that...
So you're saying it could get even more outrageous than wearing a Jedi costume to the school board meeting?
This one will drop jaws all over the place.
All right. Well, Chris, now I got to tell you, there's those people. There's those people that saw when you were running for school board. They saw your commercial of the ship that basically obliterated a schoolhouse. Some people understood it, some people didn't. A lot of people said, I think he's wacky. Now, there's going to be a lot of people that's going to probably say the same thing about you wearing the Jedi Knight costume to a school board meeting. What's your reply to people that may say, I don't know about that?
Mark, I was reading my Bible last night, and I'm very fond of Jeremiah.
Right.
Jeremiah was a prophet. He did so many outrageous things. He makes me look tame.
Okay.
And Jeremiah did all these things because he wanted to wake up the people of Israel to the fact that because of what they were doing, it was bringing their destruction. That's what I'm trying to do. Whatever tactic is in my grasp, if I can use that for good, to make a difference for something in the right way, I will do that.
So what you're saying, Chris, is that this whole thing of wearing your Jedi costume to the school board meeting is to get attention for the cause.
Yes, it is. And I know I'm probably going to look silly up there. I realize that. I can accept that. It's going to be a little bit of a sacrifice of dignity, but Mark, there were a lot of men and women that gave up a lot more than that for the freedoms we have. This is the least I can do to show my respect to them, at least.
Now, Chris, you say this is on July the 9th. That's on a Monday night, July the 9th. And it starts at what time?
At 6 o'clock. They've changed the meeting times now. It's now at 6 p.m.
All right, so at 6 o'clock on Monday, July the 9th, you will be dressed as a Jedi Knight at the Rockingham County Board of Education meeting at the Harrington offices in Eden, and you're encouraging people to come out dressed in their favorite costume to rebel against the Rockingham County Board of Education.
All all I ask is please do not wear a full face mask, again, out of the public safety concerns. And besides, we want them to see our faces. We are not ashamed of our opposition. We should not show that we're ashamed. We should be bold in our opposition. They should be able to look into our eyes and see that we do not want this.
All right. Chris Knight is very vocal and opposed to the standard mode of dress policy in the Rockingham County Board of Education for students at Reidsville High, Reidsville Middle School, possibly a county-wide thing if it catches on, and very opposed to it, and planning to wear a costume, a Jedi costume from Star Wars on July the 9th, and encouraging people to do that. Chris, keep us informed. We want to check in with you from time to time to see how it's going and see what we can expect. We'll talk to you before July the 9th to see what we can expect at the school board meeting.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate it, Mark.
All right. Thank you. Chris Knight, everybody, former candidate for Rockingham County Board of Education, filmmaker and blogger. And we're going to let you talk about it when we come back. What do you think of what he said? 866-498-6266-2349-5594. Your comments on wearing costumes to the school board meeting right after this.